couple words from each of these pioneers of GPS from the 90s and before, starting with Jim Frutcher. Oh, thank you. All right. A couple words. So, Arkenstone started 21 years ago making reading machines for the blind. And our very first employee, actually before me, was a guy named Mickey Quenzer, who I think many guys may remember Mickey. And so one day Mickey came in cursing a blue streak. And I'm like, Mickey, why are you so upset? He's like, well, this damn bus driver dropped me off at the wrong stop. I had no idea where I was, and it made me so mad. If I ever get vision back again, I'm gonna get a car. I'm gonna run over that guy. Now, of course, if you're an entrepreneur, you think, user need. not to come up with ways to kill bus drivers, but what if Mickey knew which bus stop he got off of? So I had this idea, well, how could we? So, we had this idea, and then Arkenstone was kind of a little thin on cash, and so Gilles, who we'd work with, said, well, I think I can tap some Canadian money. And do you know that there's this grad student who's already doing this in Quebec who works for us? Or it was Quebec, right? Or right across the river? It was Ontario. All right, sorry. I can't tell my Canadian geography. But it's close to Quebec, okay? And, but of course, that's the whole point of this, isn't it? So we invented this product called Atlas Speaks, which was basically a talking map. And we started working on Strider, which, meeting Mike on this. Mike became our number one and actually only user of Strider for I think at least 2 years. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We should, Mike, where are we going to get the money to actually get this thing launched as a product? And he said, I don't know. I said, well, I don't know if we can afford it. So behind every great product innovation is a pig-headed entrepreneur who will not give up on the idea that makes them totally passionate. And I really appreciate the fact that Mike said, well, if you're not going to do it, will you let me and Sendero do it? And we said, well, sure. So I think what we're celebrating is the success of that vision, to see that talking GPS is actually put in the hands of the people who really need it, so the next Mickey Quenzer who gets dropped off at the wrong bus stop can actually figure out where to go next and not feel like killing anyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. And a big part of that, actually implementing this, was Bill Schwegler. We're honored to have him here tonight. He's not been in the blindness industry for a while, but he's been doing a lot of cool stuff that has actually helped us in the product that you're using today. Bill?
Yay, Bill! Oh, well, thank you. This is fantastic. Thank you, Michael. Anyway, so I guess I wanted to just give you a little bit of some of the background story to Jim's speech. We were all very interested in trying to help Mickey show up to work on time.
He worked.
Yeah, I know, and I heard about it. Where's Mickey? Well, Mickey's not here yet. Well, where's Mickey? Anyway, so Mickey did come in. And I was very, very keenly interested in following a lot of the technology that was going on, and in GPS, maps and stuff. And before Jim started Arkenstone, he was a founder of a company called Palantir, which became Declare Recognition Systems, which developed the optical character recognition software that we used at Arkenstone, and on and on and on. And to a long story, there was a Palantir company reunion held at a park in Silicon Valley, and there's lots of beer and carousing and going on, and I hooked up by the beer keg with two people, a guy by the name of Rich Poppin, who Jim and I both know, and Linnea Dunn, and they were Palantir-ites, and they left to join a company that was getting going in Silicon Valley called TeleAtlas. And TeleAtlas was doing some of the very early pioneering work of digital map databases. And so over by the keg of beer, we were chatting with them. Linnea was telling me about the work she was doing creating the digital map databases, and then Rich Poppin told me about some of the new GPS technology that was coming out of Trimble Navigation. The GPS receivers were, at that time, were at least the size of a big pie pan, and now they were coming down in size, and they were going to be about the size of a hockey puck, and that was a huge leap forward over the pie pans. And they also were going to be in a PCMCIA form factor, so it would be possible to plug a GPS receiver into a notebook computer. And voila! So we add voice to that, and we have some software. We have a map database. Well, then we have Atlas Speaks and Strider. And so over several beers, we sat down and completely designed the product and coded it and brought it out. And I was instrumental in helping me convince Jim to at least start doing some pilot work on it. And we've got some of the original developers here that also worked on it, besides Charles. So we've got some great people to introduce you to. But that's sort of the original, the backstory technology program on how we put all the pieces together.
Thanks, Bill. And all these great products you're using today, you don't know about it unless you read all the copyright stuff. There's an engine in there from Jakarta, which is a company that Bill founded, and that is the map engine. That's really what makes it happen under the hood. So when he went off into the general map GPS market, he still worked with us closely and gave us affordable pricing that would work in our industry. So we're really thrilled to have had Bill at Arkenstone and beyond. Well, another huge player in all this, of course, is Gilles Pepin, and of course starting out with Visuade, and a wonderful person who's contributed to this, a great friend, and we'll let him have his couple of words. Gilles?
Thanks, Mike. First of all, the message about the Braille note, 10 years of Braille note, it's a great achievement. I can tell you that there's a whole team working on it. Dominic mentioned what we've done right at the start, the Jonathan Sharp, the Russell Smith, who really had the right ideas and put that together and came out with a great product. And now there's a whole team making sure that this product will continue, will develop, and will continue to be a great product for all of you. So 10 years of Braille note, great. We're really happy about that. Second thing I want to say is more about GPS. Jim mentioned a few things, and I want to come back on these, tell you the real story. I have 3 stories. Jim mentioned that there was some money somewhere and he got it. Let me tell you how this happened. 1992, CSUN. CSUN at that time, for those who were there, was a little bit north of here, like LA. Now we're in San Diego. So 92. Jim came to me and said, I have this great idea. He didn't tell me about Mickey Quinzer, but he told me that he had a great idea. There were satellites somewhere in the space and that could help blind people. I said, good idea. He said, I have one problem. I don't have any money. I said, maybe I have an answer. Mayor Francis Lawton in Canada does have some money, so maybe we could do something. I said, let me think about it. I have this idea, but I'm not sure I want to, really go ahead with it. So he called me a few weeks later and said, okay, I have a deal for you. Here it is. You get the money from Mayor Francis, we co-develop the product, you get the distribution in Canada, and I get the rest of the world. I said, okay, that might work. Let's discuss a little bit more about it. So this was my first story. My second story is about Charles Lapierre. There's a different, turn to it also. Charles Lapierre was actually employed by Visuade at that time, the ancestor of humanware. So Charles, in fact, we hired, he was a student at the University of Ottawa, and we said, let's start this project with Arkenstone, and we sent Charles over to Arkenstone to work with them, so as an exchange program. And what happened is Jim was very wise. What he did, he introduced a very nice lady to Charles. And then Charles married the lady, decided to stay in California, decided to work for Arkenstone, so we lost the guy, completely.